Hi everybody, my name's Amista, and I thought that I wanted to do a little video to sort of look at something that seems to be somewhat controversial. I'm not sure how controversial. This has to do with the special operation going on in Ukraine. And what I really want to look at, because we have multiple stories floating around, is will Ukraine have Crimea back as a part of its country actively again, deoccupied by the time this whole special operation is all said and done? That's what I want to see, because Ukraine is saying yes, definitely. Other people not so sure. And so this is just a curiosity thing because I can more than anything else. So let's find out. Let's put down some cards. I am actually using my Russian Tarot of St. Petersburg to look at this. I've actually had this deck much longer than this conflict has been going on. I've had it for 6 or 7 years, but let's see what the answer is. Will Ukraine have Crimea back deoccupied under its control as part of its own country actively once again before this special operation is over? 10 of Coins, 5 of Cups, Moon in reverse, Ace of Swords in reverse, and the Empress in reverse. Technically, for me, this is a tie because when I look at yes or no questions, for those of you who understand tarot, yes cards are going to be major arcanas and even numbered pip cards, and no cards are going to be court cards and odd pip cards. So basically, we have a yes, we have a no, we have a yes, we have a no, we have a yes. So when Spirit gives me a tie like this, I take it as, okay, well then Spirit wants to give us more than a straight up yes or no answer here. So it's worth it to look at the details of what actually shows up. Now, 10 of Coins starting out. I like this card. This is a card about security and stability. So this basically says that by the time this is said and done, there will be some security and stability having to do with Crimea. So with just looking only at that card so far, that doesn't say is that stability and security because it's now officially part of Russia or because it's now deoccupied. So we're going to have to look at the cards a little bit more to figure that out. Now, 5 of Cups coming up behind that does talk about some kind of disappointment about the stability and the security here. So this could be like major rebuilding that has to happen with this disappointment. This could be a bunch of different things. We're going to look at more of the spread to try and figure out or try and see basically what Spirit's trying to say about this situation. So we have the Moon card coming up in reverse. Moon card in reverse talks to me about the idea of something that has been kept under wraps or kept hidden, coming out or coming up to the surface. So some kind of information that is coming up to the surface. So this is interesting to me because this, in this type of context, this card, if we want to draw a similarity, this card would be like whenever Russia withdrew from Bucha, this would be like when Ukraine went in and they saw everything that had happened in Bucha, and maybe not even everything, but a lot that nobody outside of Bucha knew what was happening. So for me, I think that this disappointment that we're seeing is that when we get into Crimea, or when Ukraine gets into Crimea, and I think they will with that 10 of Pentacles, I think when they get in there, there's going to be some more atrocities come out that I think are going to be really shocking to us, because remember, Russia's been occupying Crimea since 2014. So there can be some stuff that's been going on for a long time that nobody really realized on the outside. So I think that that's what our disappointment actually is about, is that once they get in there and they see the devastation that has happened towards their citizens, towards the land, towards their general assets to add to their gross national product, etc. So with the Ace of Swords coming up in reverse, I think that there will definitely be communication going out to the world about some of these Um, I don't know if I want to call them atrocities right now because we really don't know what they are, but Spirit's really nudging that word. So I think there is going to be communication to the outside world about some of these atrocities that went on before that people didn't feel safe communicating that were actually in Crimea at the time. I think those are going to be communicated to the outside world. With that Ace of Swords, this also can be legal ramifications. So there could be a lot of not only communicating and getting reporters in there and talking about things and doing interviews, but there could be documentation about war crimes and other things like this that actually comes out of Crimea once Ukraine gets into there. With the Empress card showing up in reverse, this is really, I still think we're getting in there with that 10 of coins showing up right side up. But with the Empress card in reverse, I feel like um, this for me feels like a mama's grief over things that her children has been through. So I think that there's going to be um, the idea that Ukraine that remained unoccupied, once they understand some of the things that were happening in Crimea, I think that this is going to be something that is painful to think about, painful to realize. Um, I feel like this is going to be a realization that things are going to be much worse than they could have imagined in occupied Crimea. So, and the feeling I get, whew, the feeling I get is a really, really heavy feeling. So do I think before the special operation is over, will Ukraine have Crimea back fully and actively and in an unoccupied way? Absolutely, I do. I think it's going to be, I think once they get in there and they see what these people have been through since 2014, I think it's going to be appalling and heartbreaking and even overwhelming for a lot of people. I also feel like there are going to be people that have not seen relatives that were in Crimea since all this went down. And I think that getting back in touch, those families getting back in touch and being able to visit each other um, is going to be something that is bittersweet. Happy to see each other, yes. To know what all's been going on, that's going to be the bitter part. All right. So you know what? After looking at this energy is so heavy. I was thinking maybe of looking at a timeline, but I don't think I even want to look at this anymore because this is really hard and I'm about to cry. So I think I'm going to go ahead and shut this video down and get it out to you guys. Namaste.